channel from Mark Moss. Okay, the Mark Moss talk about the Wall Street just bet 114 trillion on the wrong system. 114 trillion global finance rewiling the SEC just clearly tokenized asset. Okay, so on. What's going on with that? All right. Yeah. 114 trillion global finance rewinding. Last week, the company custodian $114 trillion of the U.S. asset announced they switched a new infrastructure in October 2026. The biggest rewinding the global financial system since World War II. Now, the part of predicted is over 10 years ago. The big story, what are the other side? What is why DTCC built their new system? An entirely global money movement system has already started migrating. Now we have a right. Today, dollars are flowing from U.S. bank to the Mexican peso account in 2 seconds. A rare the bank don't own now. The man building this used to the wrong. The man used to this. Very important. The man building this used to run the PayPal. He designed a deal. The run with PayPal. He signed a deal with Visa. Partnership covered 175 million merchants in 65 countries is all running on the same rail. Almost nobody even talking about because nobody know about it. It's very precious information. Okay, because recently I didn't pay attention about DTCC. That was a phony system. Almost nobody even talking about it. So this video I'm going to break all down. I'm going to show you the framework call out every state about 10 years ago. And I want to show you the two parallel rail running right now in the 5 years window. You have to position yourself because the people who understand this shift are going to be the fabulous wealthy, and the people who don't, they could be left out in the cold. Ready? Let's go. All right, this is exciting video. I've been talking about this for years. It's predicted 10 years ago, and we see this all come. Yeah, and the validate is going to be the exciting, also back or the full screen, and trying to format again. Let me know if you like this. Pharma switch, but let's talk about the number right now. Yeah, the human brain cannot even comprehend how big it is. We're talking about the largest money move in the history to the world, and we're talking about the biggest infrastructures announcement entirely lifetime. We're talking about 114 trillion of assets in custody. It wasn't just 140 trillion of assets. We talk about the 1.7 quadrillion. See, 1.7 quadrillion dollars transaction. Just last year alone, I'm talking about every stock, every bond, trade in America, all of them running through the one single company, one single platform, one single piece of the technology. It's October 2026. They are rebuilding the entire infrastructure from the group. And let's kick off big financial system rewinding, and we have since the World War II, and as you might imagine, this is much money moving create, much value creates enormous opportunity for people like you who can see ahead of time. Okay, rewinding the global financial system happened because of technology, and the technology shift happening was predicted over 10 years ago. The big story is the other way from here. We are going to get into, okay, now just covering the news. You can get the news on your own. So tell you what it means. Back to the news, the DTCC token, all right, tokenization service. They basically taking every stock. The SEC just cleared tokenized asset, every bond, every treasury, you name it, every financial instrument in the United States tokenized. And they not announced back in the May as the pilot was to start in July. The full launches happened in October so far. So 50 financial firms already on the ball. And let's look at who is on this group. This is who of the financial company. We're talking about BlackRock, of course, largest asset manager in the world, Citibank, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Arcarages Digital, Circle, Stablecoin, of course, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, you name this, for the crypto native firm, or even with BNP Paris Bank, or Barclays, so on. So finance, and the SEC already cleared all this clearly last December. We can see there was a SEC no action letter put forth December of 2025. Give him the 3 years authorization to run this way. And all the stock index, including the Russell 1000 stock, major ETF, U.S. Treasuries bill, bond, note, and all of the being the tokenized to start running on this new rail. Now this big news is what I mean. Why do I even care? Why should you care? Because again, it sounds like a news tokenization, asset tokenization. The regulatory environment has cleared this up, and that every major bank is involved, and they are moving forward. But what get buried in this announcement, nobody covered the detail, the changes in entire history. The reason why I should care about this, if you are the Bitcoin like me, you might notice this is, if you not, what you might not see. Why Wall Street picked the wrong network. But what you might notice is they are building this entirely tokenization platform. They are not building. They are not building in the public blockchain. They are building in something called a Canton network, which is blockchain, but its permission is privacy enabled, and the DTCC kept override key every single token. They control the participant who can join. What is a participant? So isn't an open infrastructures. If not open, if not transparency, how can you do this kind to the SEC? They move the stock without the legal procedure, who organized this, and that doesn't mean anything to you yet. So stay with, because they just announced something that's happened before. Yeah, they announced something happened before, and we see the history repeat. Well, here's the reason. And 3 times in the modern history, we have seen those of prayer, bullshit, and all of course, once you understand the pattern. So why I love the cycle, when you see the pattern, you are going to understand exactly where this all ends. Let's go back, not too far back. Go back to the 1995. 1995 was very early days of internet, and we saw the very first internet IPO. So the really start probably 1990, okay, with public first World Wide Web, www World Wide Web, and 1995 is really where things started picking up. It's because 1994 we start promote worldwide internet, so on. So we have to questionnaire, and we have to collect, different government label, because and I just can tell in 1995 this some of the government private sell out to the private. I can tell you this. That's why now they have Google, you see, Microsoft logo. Those are huge, those of take over government. Yeah. Take over government system, you see. They almost take over the government worldwide system. That's why our world now, no Supreme Court, no DOJ, no Justice Department, nothing. So no justice, no judicial. It's the first public www. This is start from us. Yeah, we all know that. And the things started picking up is where most people pick up the internet, right here. And back then, people were on the American Online, you see. American Online at the time. American Online was Warner Brothers, you see. They were CompuServe. They were the Prodigy. All of those close network, all of those world garden, you could only talk to the people on the same service. If you are the American Online, you could talk to the people American Online. When you are living in the United States, but get out of the United States, no American Online. Okay, here is Google. That's why I have Google, you see. And also, also with Microsoft, you see, Microsoft. Of course, Facebook also in Bush X, Twitter, yeah. And that was in the WhatsApp, you see. Instagram, Telegram, however. So they were closed service, and they were word garden, and the place told the people back then open the internet would never work for the normal people, because of course they needed the structures, they needed the protection, they need the privacy of the closed system. So the 30 million user on American Online is peak. They had that, but they were closed off again. CompuServe was more of the institutions layer, and Prodigies, Prodigy had the IBM, had the Sear behind, and every one of them lost, because once open the infrastructures, scale them, closed the network, and they couldn't compete. Now we are seeing the same pattern happening today. Notice, Why we want to understand the history cycle? Because we can see the same pattern today. Wall Street today. Wall Street sold out. The reason you see, SEC is sold out. Wall Street today building the closed financial network. The DTCC just put $114 trillion of U.S. asset onto the JP Morgan. JP Morgan has the ONYX and BlackRock. They all the private. Why they put those government asset? You see, SEC original have supervisor, maybe Congress, and Supreme Court. But now, why no Supreme Court? And if those of become the private, and who gonna pay the Supreme Court judge? Who gonna pay for FBI? Who gonna pay for the CIA? Who gonna pay for the those of DOJ, justice system? Don't make any sense. You see, the JP Morgan, right? The JP Morgan, BlackRock, bit, and being pretty interesting. So hundreds of $billions of U.S. treasuries tokenized in the DEFI ecosystem, but all those closed network, the same shape, about 30 years later. So becomes monopoly. You see. And government, no worldwide government, no government. That's why then they can, and those are private companies, they can launch the war in every world corner, and because they control the Pentagon software, you see. How dangerous, I think our world is finished. And here's what last week's announcement actually was. Wasn't that the tokenization arriving? It even mean it was intranet-based tokenization arriving, and it's only ever been the outcome pattern. If you are not old enough to remember the 1995 to 2000, everything I knew, of course, everything started from Earth and stone from me. Okay, so the internet evil, maybe internet doesn't mean a lot, but understand where it is. So that's why the government is dead now. You see, going to again. So who's gonna pay the government and pension fund, those insurance, those? Oh my God. Yeah, and we can again how we can profit from this. You need to know whose soul is coming, because what's happened right now was the Grammy detail of this 10 years old prediction coming true now. Transactions about 10 years ago down to the face. Exactly timeline to the years we are right now. So okay, so I won't go back 10 years ago. This wasn't March 2016. There was a small little auditorium back in the Zurich, and only maybe less than 200 people in the room at the time. We talk about the devil or something. It must be devil or something. And there was software engineering. Really, nobody even knew. And he was at the time he went the stage. He gave him about a 30 minutes talk. And again, he wasn't famous. Today, he might be recognized. This today, now, 10 years ago, now, you might recognize this guy. You might recognize the hairdo. Of course, we're talking about the undo on the top. But back then, nobody knew who he was. He wasn't famous. He talked didn't trend, but what he broken down is the gram. He explained state by state exactly what the world watching unfold right now. Let's play the little video, okay, so you can understand. And this is Mr. Musk, his prediction. He's going to see over the next 15 or 20 years a great infrastructure inversion, and that will happen in finance. What will happen is bank will resist, then the bank adopt, then the bank will run their system alongside the blockchain and the Bitcoin system. And finally, they will run all of the traditional bank as an application on the top of the decentralized trust ledger. And all right, and you catch, here's what he said. He told us exactly the infrastructure inversions first. They fight against the infrastructure. Then they use the infrastructure, and he told us exactly what his bank would resist. And he said the bank would adopt. Then he said the bank would run their system alongside the blockchain, and then he said finally the bank would run all the traditional bank on the top and open the decentralized ledgers. And now he gave us about 15 or 20 years. The timeline he gave us, he broke down onto the phase. So phase on is resist. And first they fight, then they resist, then bank call it fraud. So JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, central bank, all dismissed Bitcoin. And Jamie Dimon said that if anybody, even in this bank, even trade above it, he fired off them. Then we went phase number 2, where the adoption happened. So now banks are buying, and we have a spot ETF, custodial service, and this is all happened right now. The balance sheet allocation, and so you have seen just last couple of weeks, Charlie Schwab irate now doing the Bitcoin transaction, and BlackRock all is happening. Then we have to face this bank started running alongside, and the things is running similar, look like a copycat. Then eventually, what Andrew said is the final phase, 15 or 20 years, is beer on the top. Now I want you to look carefully. All this because every single phase he predict already happened. And we just have one more happening right now again. The bank resists. Jamie Dimon called a Bitcoin fraud. And we saw this, and the LAM ETF in history. And the saw of the look back through the history, see the progress we can start to see, because the March is 2020 and 2016 all the way October, and 2026 is about 10 years. 10 years, 7 months, Andrew called it 15 and 20. So now sometimes technology happen faster than you may predict. And 2036, 5 years on the short, 10 years on the long end. And how bank will finally see the Bitcoin, understanding this. And they cannot look out far enough. So if that's all the video talk about it, so it would already be the most important framework. What's happening on the Wall Street? You are missing the whole things. If that's all you are watching, Wall Street running closed the network. It also happening on a complete different layer. I'm talking about the one that already running the real money. Talking about the banking, retail. And the way big, now nobody talking about for some reason, probably because they don't understand the history, technology adoption, and cycle. And so that the Andrew predict, it's not happening on a single rail. When I talk about a rail, and the technology is payment rail, and it's not happening one is happening on 2 rail. right now, the same time, what they're doing now. Okay, so rare one payment rare, one technology rare, and one just cover the DTCC durabilities on the Canton. That's a closed network. So Wall Street has their World Garden all that again, and leave this year 2026. The rare number two, where is really happened? The rare number two is already running, just most people are not talking about. It's moving real dollars. He talked about real currency and also fake currency. Also those are tokenized. See the real money. Okay, between real bank right now today, of course, Wall Street talking about their pilot program, and this is open rare, is already production. And okay, so here we have today right now is a bank, SOFI, regulated U.S. bank, and they sending the dollar. SOFI bank sending the dollar and U.S. dollar from the U.S. checking account over the Mexican bank account, delivering the peso. I'm talking about the bank sending U.S. dollar and U.S. checking account, sending dollar to the peso bank account in Mexico in second. I'm not talking about the wire transfer. It's talking about the weeks ago go through. I'm talking about the sending fiat, FIAT, fiat in second, and the dollar convert to the Bitcoin. So they go from the US dollar to the Bitcoin. But Bitcoin, you see, start from Trump, in the White House, and was above 100,000 each Bitcoin. Now the price is like 76,000 Bitcoin, and some resources say, oh, maybe it becomes 55,000. So this is robbery. They use this kind of to the who lost, of course, investor. But the platform is phony. See, how can you trust this kind of phony system? Robbery, the most people life saving. It's crazy. This system is, my God. And they're using the rare technology to send a dollar, send a fiat, send any currency, and close the Bitcoin Lightning Network, the local currency. So those are phony money. I don't think it's going to work. And the PayPal mafia trying to reinvent payment. This guy went to go work at Facebook, now Meta. He started a payment program called to the Libra. And if you remember, was a global currency project, the regulator clash. You might remember see him have to go before Congress to testify. But now he run like a spark. He spent the last 4 years building open rare, one layer on a time, and look at the progress. So what we can see right now is payout network already reaches 65 countries. You see, it's like all the United Nations are died. The same SEC died. You see, about the 1,400 bank and the wallet, and already using this, and we are talking about the 93 trillions, huge number, more than the debt of the US government. Yeah, and GDP coverage. Now they have a Visa, you see, GDP, and they have the Visa partnership extending, and you see, I forgot which country don't use Visa and Mastercard. You see, now maybe they wanna eliminate the Visa and Master. You see, you go Europe or somewhere, you can't use the Visa or Mask. It's weird, you see. And GDP cup, and they use their system, you see. So they have a Visa partnership extending. And so we have the Bitcoin. And Bitcoin link a card across the 175 million of merchants over the 100 countries and 32 European country partnership. We're talking about massive light spark becoming the principal member of the Visa. And give them access for 32 countries. I mean, it's growing very fast. SURFI, so SURFI. So the first US bank, all of these moving dollars, moving fiat across the Bitcoin network. And almost nobody even talking about this. This is exactly what is Anthropopoulos were talking about. And here's David Marcus. Make his view really interesting. Why we should really paying attention. He is not a Bitcoin guy. He is not a Bitcoiner. Not like me. And he is a payment guy. He tried to build this out of PayPal. If you go back, they want to out of PayPal system. Those are phony, Elon Musk, those are bullshit, you see. If you go back, listen to the very first interview, you know the Elon Musk back in the days, they will try to reinvent global financial system. So that's why I talk about it, he stolen money from Twitter, SEC. He stole everything. He tried to with PayPal, then tried to with Libra, and inside Meta, and he saw the fail over, and here's what he said. The rare win, RAIL win. We can the open rare Wall Street is ignored. See the right here. Bitcoin is the only network, neutral and open, the only way. And former PayPal president, right? The guy who ran the Libra inside Facebook. It's not a Bitcoin, right? He just understands it's only way to make it work. You see loads of private, how can you get Bitcoin is entirely phony, so we forget about this. Yeah. I don't want to look about DTCC now. They sold out DTCC phony, everything's phony now. We are in no supervisor problem, and the you see, they collect all the data. Treasury Department, Federal Reserve, Central Bank. Now that's why Wall Street, he appointed this Wall Street guy, try to stolen the mortgage, and everyone have to pay down payment. 39 million house. Each family has to pay about 38 $38,000 US down payment, but fixed the interest rate, you see. So history tells us cross rate is probably cross rate was probably going to the run of a couple of years and fail. And tokenized treasuries on Canton is real thing, and they are going to be there, but the pattern is that American Online eventually move user to open the web. CompuServe have to shut down. Prodigy have to shut down. Close the network become the stepping stone, and the open network eventually win. The DTCC eventually will be the open rare too, because the people running real money, they're already there. And if you watch this, you understand the historic context going on. You can see the piece of going. That's why, give me a break. Terrible and terrible. Channel from Mark Moss. Okay. Mark Moss talk about the Wall Street just bad. 114 trillion on the run system. 114 trillion global finance rewilding. The SEC just cleared the tokenized asset. Okay, so on. What's going on with that? All right. Yeah. 114 trillion global finance rewilding. Last week, the company custodian $114 trillion of the U.S. asset announced they switched a new infrastructure in October 2026. The biggest rewilding the global financial system since World War II. Now, the part of predicted is over 10 years ago. The big story, what are the other side? What is why DTCC built their new system? An entirely global money movement system has already started migrating. Now we have a right. Today, dollars are flowing from U.S. bank to the Mexican peso account in 2 seconds. A rare the bank don't own now. The man building this used to the run. The man used to this. Very important. The man building this used to run the PayPal. He designed a deal. The run with PayPal. He signed a deal with Visa. Partnership covered 175 million merchants in 65 countries is all running on the same rail. Almost nobody even talking about because nobody know about it. It's very precious information. Okay, because recently I didn't pay attention about DTCC. That was a phony system. Almost nobody even talking about it. So this video I'm going to break all down. I'm going to show you the framework call out every state about 10 years ago. And I want to show you the two parallel rail running right now in the 5 years window. You have to position yourself because the people who understand this shift are going to be the fabulous wealthy, and the people who don't, they could be left out in the cold. Ready? Let's go. All right, this is exciting video. I've been talking about this for years. It's predicted 10 years ago, and we see this all come. Yeah, and the validate is going to be the exciting, also back of the full screen, and trying to format again. Let me know if you like this. Pharma, switch, but let's talk about the number right now. Yeah, the human brain cannot even comprehend how big it is. We're talking about the largest money move in the history to the world, and we're talking about the biggest infrastructure announcement entirely lifetime. We're talking about 114 trillion of asset in custodian. It wasn't just 140 trillion of asset. We talk about the 1.7 quadrillion. See, 1.7 quadrillion dollars transaction. Just last year alone, I'm talking about every stock, every bond, trade in America, all of them running through the one single company, one single platform, one single piece of the technology. It's October 2026. They are rebuilding the entire infrastructure from the group. And let's kick off big financial system rewinding. And we have since the World War II, and as you might imagine, This is much money moving create, much value creates, enormous opportunity for people like you who can see ahead of time. Okay, rewinding the global financial system happened because of technology, and the technology shift happening was predicted over 10 years ago. The big story is the other way from here. We are going to get into, okay, now just covering the news. You can get the news on your own. So tell you what it means. Back to the news, the DTCC token, all right, tokenization service. They basically taking every stock. The SEC just cleared tokenized asset, every bond, every treasury, you name it, every financial instrument in the United States tokenized. And they not announced back in May as the pilot was to start in July. The full launches happened in October so far. So 50 financial firms already on the ball. And let's look at who is on this group. This is who of the financial company. We're talking about BlackRock, of course, largest asset manager in the world, Citibank,